Right, so this is episode 73. If you missed the previous episode, Australia, I recommend you go and check that out. But yes, coming into this episode, we've got a new sashi department. So all of a sudden, we've got some upgrades to be able to purchase, and instantly we're going to purchase them. Ultimate upgrade on the tyre wear and weight redistribution. Both of those will not come in until Baku, because I'm pretty sure the sashi department has forgotten how to do it. As we've got, interestingly, a wet qualifying and a wet sprint but a dry race, so that is interesting. We'll of course have to compromise the setup and go for a dry setup. Just want to point out that obviously I'm hoping that this can trigger the other departments to upgrade, because we still need to get some upgrades on the aero and the engine side of thing. But as you see, McLaren, they don't have to wait for Spec 3 upgrades, HQ rather, so they've been able to start purchasing upgrades. Everyone else in the top, apart from I think that's Red Bull, who are like now the 5th fastest team. Alfa Romeo up there again, but not really looking there, as Alpine and AlphaTauri are very close on paper. Can AlphaTauri win their home Grand Prix? We'll have to wait and see. Gasly's won the opening two so far. As we move into qualifying then, and it's a wet qualifying, and things are going usually well in the wet qualifying around a track that I'm not particularly fast at, and we're behind the teething. Yeah, not great. We're not. It's even worse by the fact we had a worse run up to the start line to start our lap. We have actually improved through turn one. This corner's horrible, especially in the wet. Up to no traction turn, which is my name for it now, because the AI will out traction you every single time at that corner. As we go up the hill, this corner I love. You can always make an overtake round the outside, not the inside there. And again with this next corner, round the outside is where you want to be. As well, this corner is always a bit awkward for rear end stepping out as well, to come through into the middle sector. Once again, we're only slightly up on Schwartzman, through into this little chicane thing, and out the other side. Don't try and take the curbs, you will end up with floor damage, as well as we've lost time out of that as well as we go down the hill into the final couple of corners here at Imola. Don't go too wide because you'll limit your lap, and you can't. I've never seen floor damage unless you get on that green rumble strip, but up to the line anyway. It's an okay lap, but it's only enough for P18, which is not great as well, especially the fact that Piastri is 9th. I'm going to put it down to being intermediate weather. I think that in the end it was actually rain might have been getting a little bit heavier, which always disadvantages the player compared to the AI as well. We weren't too far off Latifi, but we've been out qualified by him, so that's a disappointment. So yes, we're going to have to try and make up positions. Fortunately we can do, because there's a sprint race. It's time for the sprint in the rain.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We are expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint. This will make for some tricky conditions for all the teams. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Pierre Gasly lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Magnussen, Albon, Esteban Ocon and Russell, Hamilton, Vettel, Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Valtteri Bottas and Mick Schumacher, Joe, Latifi, Robert Schwartzman and Phoenix, Tsunoda, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Not in the sprint, we're not. There's 5 laps. It's going to be into the entire thing, so yeah, let's just get on with it. 5 lights then for the Emilia Romagna sprint race. and away we go. And I can't do starts in the wet. I've decided that even on this game where I get atrocious starts, I always lose position. We've lost out to Sonoda. We're down to P19 as well. Can we try and get Sonoda back through turn 1? No, he's going to cut across as well. We're going to try and kick Stroll behind because we know that Aston Martin is a pretty quick car as he now has a go on the inside there. We're going to dive down the inside of Sonoda. Oh, so close there, but we haven't made the move on Sonoda, and then we try and have a look around the outside of one of the Haas cars, but that doesn't work. Sonoda's on our inside. We're going to have to try and squeeze into the left hand side as we go up the hill. You can see what I mean about the traction that the AI get compared to the player. A little bit wide there, fortunately no floor damage as well, but we have been able to make this position. As I said, as I said in the qualifying lap, you want to keep that right hand side to get the better track position. Excuse me, as we were off circuit. The two Haas cars, something has happened there. They were to race. They broke so early, and the safety car's out. So here's what happened. We're on board with Bottas, who's in P12. He's behind Vettel, and he just runs into the back of him because Vettel, I think one of the Red Bulls was going very slowly, and Schwartzman also loses his front wing on his part of his front wing on teammate. So the safety cars come out to clear out the debris in a sprint race, I might point out, as well. So nobody's retired. All 20 cars are still running, but obviously this is the first time we've seen a sprint race, and it takes up 2 laps of the 5 that we have. So this is a very short sprint race. We need to get in front of Sonoda. Sorry, not Sonoda, Zhou, excuse me, in the Alfa Romeo. He's broken about 5,000 yards too early, as he's had a horrible turn 1 actually by the looks of it. Let's have a replay. So we got him down the inside, and then he tried to come back at us, and he just went far too deep into turn 2, and that allowed both Haas cars to come. So we work on board with Mick Schumacher in the Haas. Well, he's trying to follow me through really, but he's gone into the gravel, and Mick is down. Sadly, going to put him behind Bottas as we come across the line. P13, and there's been a pile up after the checker flag. Here's what happened after the checker flag. So Verstappen crosses the line, and then he just crashes into Gasly, and then obviously he's just pile driving. Ocon to Alpine's managed to go past in the end, but yes, Verstappen will keep that place, and Red Bull will be able to fix that car and not him as well. Piastri picking up a point. 13th isn't the end of the world, though. It's time for the race.
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo and Dino Ferrari. The clue is in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula 1 tracks as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit and its only DRS zone. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. A fantastic effort from Pierre Gasly yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Magnussen, Ocon, Alex Albon and Russell, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Vettel and Charles Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Phoenix and Latifi, Zhou, Sonoda, Lance Stroll and Robert Schwartzman, Bottas and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's have a chat about Williams. We have some changes to the regulations, of course, which mainly revolve around the chassis this year, and unfortunately, the early signs are they've not adapted particularly well.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs, but this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Now, yes, I do think we can get points today in the race. You know, we've got the dry setup. Others may or may not have compromised their setup for the wet. Race strategy is going to be a soft to medium. We're going to stop on lap 7, not lap 6 as the game wanted to do, because apparently the Delta says it's faster as well. So 5 lights then to the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and away we go. And as usual, it's a miserable start. Latifi's got a better start than me in our house Audi. Well, we're going to try and get Norris down the inside. Almost got the Ferrari. Had to back out. Norris overtakes, and we've maintained position. Crucial not to get stuck behind Latifi. As Verstappen's had a horrendous start. He's lost out to Magnussen. He's now battling with Esteban Ocon in the Alpine car, and the Alpines look pretty nippy, as well as we've got DRS failure around the outside of Norris and Sainz. Sainz is still there, going to go side by side up the hill, and we keep our foot in, and Sainz will have to brake early to make the corner. We're up to P11, so it's been a good start. Here's a replay. We're 3 wide at that corner then, and we move over to try and shove Sainz off the racing line to give us the best possible completing that overtake up the hill. Fancy a bit of deja vu. A lap later on, 2 laps later on lap number 3. Doesn't quite work for Leclerc though. When I had to follow him up, stay behind him up the hill. Goes defensive, which allows us to catch back up. The Sainz has a go, but he's going to have a look on the inside. Can't do anything there. Now we need to try and get past, but unfortunately just has so much traction there, so we're going to have to wait for Leclerc, see if we can get past him there, as something's happened here, and now there's an opportunity to make an overtake, switch to the left, and a lovely little dive bomb. Hamilton though is still there around the outside. Now we're on the inside, not where we really want to be. We're going to try and squeeze Hamilton to the outside and try and get the apex first. Up to P9, but a lovely little move. Leclerc backed out of that as he was in the middle of both myself and Hamilton. Then it was just a drag race between the Porsche power Williams and the Mercedes up the hill. We have the better power and to be able to out-traction him. Meanwhile, up at the front, a long way away, the 2 Alpha Tauris are running away, Gasly and Magnussen. Verstappen is P3, and he's got a pack of the 2 Alpines and Russell both behind him as well. So it's not looking great for Verstappen. You know, it's a bit of holding on. I mean, he's doing better than Leclerc, who's behind me. But Hamilton picked a lap early, by the way, as we come in. I think Leclerc's going to go on a lap later, actually, as Verstappen is in. So there's, you know, lots of different strategies. Who's going to undercuts? Who's going to have the better opportunity? We'll have to wait and see. There's a 2.4, not too bad. And we had a slight hold for the Latifi coming in. Sainz has done the usual Ferrari strategy and gone on to the hard tyres in a 25% race. As well, don't ask me why. And that's Hamilton. So Hamilton has undercut me. That's annoying, because Hamilton, you know how slow that Mercedes is, just woeful in a straight line. And just look at this. He tries. There's no chance of him. There's Leclerc as well, and Vettel has completed the Ferrari strategy of pitting to hards as well. Even the game knows how Ferrari strategies issues. Can we do this? Our little new favourite move round the outside that corner. We're going to pinch Vettel to the inside. Use a bit of ERS up the hill. Can we get this around the outside? Just about, yes. Lovely little move up to P9 with a few more people to make stop, as there is Albon and Russell going side by side, but Russell gets the elbows out, forces Albon out, is able to retain P5 for now, as behind us Leclerc is embarrassing Ferrari, and it's not been a great day for Ferrari, and really the Tifosi will not be happy with the performance they put in. Leclerc though is rapid. He set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Red Bull, he's just woken up on these medium tyres, We have to defend, get the elbows out to defend. As we're watching Gasly. Oh, there's a puncture for Gasly on the penultimate lap 15. So Gasly, who has led the way, yes, he's not dominated because his teammate's been up there. He's going to hand Kevin Magnussen his first win of his career mode because he's got suffered a puncture. Such a shame for Gasly. He's going to hand us 7th place. He's going to hand Piastri 6th place. Doesn't quite have the the overwhelming pace to challenge the likes of Albon or Russell today, but 6th and 7th, that's huge for the constructors standings. Getting Piastri scoring points as well. You know, if we can continue this form, and Piastri continue his form now, because he scored, and we've both scored in the opening 3 races. Yes, we didn't score in the sprint because it was a dreadful qualifying, but we have made a lot of positions. Piastri's fastest lap, not that great. Ours was a lot faster. I think he got stuck in the end as well. Schumacher, I don't know what happened to Mick. To be honest, I think his car might have taken off because he managed to do a 1:05. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, but he retired out the race there. So in the end, because Gasly had that puncture, his lead's been cut to 8 points. You know, we thought Gasly was going to be untouchable, and now he's 8 points ahead of Verstappen, 14 in front of Magnussen, but AlphaTauri way out in front in terms of the constructors. We're comfortable in P4. I think we can keep P4. That would be fantastic for Williams and something to build on for the future as well. We lost out to Russell in the rivalry. He leads 11-8. If we can get some upgrades on the car, then that will be good. Those Sashi upgrades to come for Baku, which should be a better circuit, especially with the Porsche power as well. We're going to ask the drivers questions now to try and get a bit of extra acclaim. Not that we really need it. What is your greatest inspiration? As well, working as a team, and now I'm just one part of an incredible engine. Not so much the sash in the aero needs a bit of work on there. And away from the track, what aspect of F1 life say you excites the most? And notice they keep in these interviews. You notice they keep mentioning F1 life. The thing's been dead since 1983. As well as we've just put the cars, although as well. But yes, 34 points. Piastri now is 11 as well. First points for Hamilton as well, but he hasn't overtaken Bottas in the standings either as well. But you know, we've got Baku. That episode will be out later in the week as well. That track, hopefully, fingers crossed, as I said, we should be good down the straights. Not so sure about the middle sector. That will be painful, I think. But if with those upgrades look good, then it's only a matter of time. But we do need to try and trigger the other 2 departments to also upgrade. Hopefully we can get those final 2 brake upgrades on, and then by the time we get to like Britain, Austria, France, that's when we're looking. Okay, we've got a maxed out car. So yes, that's where I'm going to leave it today's episode. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. See plenty more F1 22 drive command videos as when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day and goodbye.